Hi, everybody. This is Trina with Chat with Trina, and today I'm here with Nurse. I'm calling her Nurse Jo Ann, but she's Nurse Goody. Tell me the last name. I'm sorry. Charles. Nurse, because my mama kept saying Goody, and so I was like, then I saw your
everybody knows me as Goody.
Goody. Okay, Nurse Goody-Charles. And I am so excited for her to be here today to give us some information. And I hope this is not her last time here because I'm looking forward to her helping me out in the future, bring good health information to us. And she also, her awesome husband is doing something nice for her today. So she still took this time to join us. So that makes me feel very special. So today we're going to talk about women's health, specifically women 40 and up, 50, us going through these changes with our body, like what's going on. Because I think I came on yesterday and said, y'all, I'm sweating. So I know y'all sweating too. It's hot, So Nurse Jo Ann, we're ready.
Okay, well, thank you so much for inviting me to join you all today. Just to give a snipping of information in regards to women's health, particularly the issue of menopause. Oftentimes you hear women say, "Oh, it's getting hot in here. Are you hot?" No, I'm not hot. Well, I'm hot. You start peeling off clothes. Turning down the temperature of the air conditioner, or just things to let you know that they are experiencing what we call their own personal summer. So, menopause is a process of life. Just like we had our periods when we were younger, and some of us have cramps, and then we go through different phases of life. You have your babies, you have PMS. All of that is just a part of being a woman, a process of life. And menopause is no different. It is not a disease, y'all. It is a simple process of life. And in my younger years, I would hear my mom and other ladies say the change of life. And that's exactly what it is. It's a change of life, the change when your hormone levels start to shift or change or decrease over time, and you go through this process of change. And all of that is related to, again, your body has decreased in those hormones called estrogen and progesterone, particularly estrogen, that impacts us so incredibly so. With the hot flashes and all the other things that go along with it. So let's just talk about menopause and what it is, the definition of menopause, and some of the things that go along with menopause. Now, prior to menopause, women will experience what we call perimenopause, and we start to actually have a decline in estrogen starting from our late 30s. And many women will start to experience what we call perimenopause in sometimes their mid-40s, where periods will become irregular because those hormones are shifting back and forth. The periods don't stop, the menstrual periods don't stop, but they are irregular. So you do notice some changes there. And you may even experience some hot flashes during that time. In fact, you're 40 plus years old, and a woman of my age would say, "Girl," she said, "Oh, I think I'm having a hot flash." She said, "Girl, you're not having a hot flash. You're too young to have a hot flash." Well, not really. You are experiencing some early symptoms of menopause. You're not quite there yet, because the definition of menopause is to be without a menstrual cycle for 1 year. And that normally happens at an age of about 52 to 54. Now, it will vary from woman to woman. I was very late in the game of experiencing menopause. I was actually in my late 50s, but I did expect it to be late because my mother was late. Genetics do play a part. It's not to say that you'll have the same experience as your mother or your sister, but it was my expectation that I would start menopause late because my mother started late. Now, let's just talk about this thing called estrogen and what's happening during the process of menopause.
Yes.
As we go through this process, one of the things that's happening is our estrogen levels, and estrogen is a powerful hormone, starts to decline, and we start to experience hot flashes. That's one of the bigger complaints of women the hot flashes. And hot flashes are different from just being hot from the heat outside or for the environment. The heat comes up from your core, and it actually, you feel it in the very top half of your body. It feels like it starts on the deep inside and goes up towards your neck and towards your head. And, and it always seems to happen in the worst times, like you may be doing a presentation, or you're in front of someone and you're having a discussion, and all of a sudden the hot flash starts. And you get this little bead of sweat on your top lip, your face may turn red, you may have these beads of sweat over your forehead, and that's stressing you out. So the hot flash actually gets worse. So you're trying to control it, but it's in control of you at that time. So, it's just a process, and we go through as we go through this thing called menopause. Now, some ladies will have go through menopause, and the hot flashes will stop after a certain period, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or you may be someone like me who started late, and although I don't have hot flashes as often, they still do occur. So it's no timetable. Let me say that. There is no timetable for any one woman of when those menopausal symptoms will stop. It's all very individualized. Genetics may play a part in it, but it is very much individualized. Now, one of the other things that occurs as we go through this process of life, this change of life, is as the estrogen decreases, other things start to happen. Estrogen also has an impact on your libido or your sex drive. Estrogen also has impact on I won't say the health of the vagina, but the dryness of the vagina, which make you painful during intercourse. Estrogen also has an impact on your bone health. So estrogen is a very powerful hormone that I think we oftentimes take for granted, and we don't really realize the impact of estrogen. Now, what can we do in relationship to menopause? Now, one of the things you see ladies do, and it is helpful, they start peeling off clothes. So if you're going through this change in life, dress in layers. So when it occurs, you can remove some of those layers of clothing that may contribute to you feeling that hotness or being overheated. The other thing is to watch our dietary habits. Alcohol can trigger hot flashes. Spicy foods can contribute to hot flashes. Sugars can contribute to hot flashes. And unfortunately, sometimes what happens, we go through the menopause, just like when you're pregnant, you have these cravings, and you may have craved sweets. So you have to exercise discipline. If you understand what's happening, it's easier to control it, as opposed when you don't understand what's going on with your body. So understand that's all a part of the process. You may be craving, sweet foods. So try to stay away from those. Particularly spicy foods have a real impact on those hot flashes. Coffee, alcohol, all of those are triggers for hot flashes. So as you go through this process of life, know what triggers, observe yourself, become knowledgeable of your body, and have an awareness of what things trigger your hot flashes. And so you can kind of stay away from those things. The outside environment will trigger hot flashes. Hot outside, or let's say you may be exercising, and everybody else may be moderately hot, but you're extremely hot because you've increased that core heat. So that's all a part of the process, and we just have to find ways to work through it. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Some of the things that we can do to get through this thing called menopause. First of all, one of the things as a nurse, and you as a lay person or client, with any process of life, whether it's a dis-ease of the body, disease or dis-ease. Dis-ease would be the
Oh,
hot flash. Your
yes.
body is kind of out of kilter. So what can we do to, as I don't want to say a treatment, but to minimize those hot flashes? Of course, we talk about the triggers, but also our dietary habits can help with that. Because one of the things we don't want to do during the process of menopause is to have bone loss. So we want to make sure our bones remain healthy. So what do we do to help with that process? Eat foods that are high in calcium, like your green leafy vegetables are high in calcium, and take calcium supplements. That's important. Take vitamin D. That's important because, again, along with the menopause, other things are occurring. You notice there may be a change in your hair, change in your skin. Your thoughts may be a little foggy while you're going through this process. It's all real. It's not your imagination. So you need to do things to help alleviate or minimize. And one of the things is our dietary habits. Eat green leafy vegetables, take vitamin D, your oily fish like sardines, salmon, all of those foods will help as far as minimizing the impact of menopause. Because again, we want to maintain good bone health. We don't want to develop osteoporosis or any of those things that might weaken your bones. The other thing we want to do is maintain our weight. That's extremely important. Exercise and healthy eating, maintaining our weight. And again, with any process, any disease of the body, the doctor will almost always recommend exercise, eating a healthy diet, and your water intake. So we want to maintain a healthy weight. Now, unfortunately, one of the things that also happens when you go through menopause is you notice that you seem to be gaining weight. And it's not your imagination. We will gain weight, is particularly around the middle during the process of menopause. And why is that happening? The body is trying to balance that off with that fatty tissue that's around the middle because it contains small amounts of estrogen, not quite the same estrogen that is produced when your ovaries are active, but it is estrogen nonetheless. And that estrogen, that fatty tissue that comes around the middle, contains small amounts of estrogen. So again, you have to do things to help to minimize that. Healthy eating, exercise, watching that calorie intake, and also those sweets that we tend to sometimes crave when we're going through this process. In addition, trying to eliminate as much stress as possible. And I know we're living in a very stressful time, and that's can be
Absolutely.
extremely difficult. But try to, just take time to be in a position where you can de-stress. If no more than 5 minutes, try to get the clutter out of your mind, take some deep breaths, relax, and try to de-stress. I mentioned water earlier. One of the things we really have to pay attention to is our water intake. Water intake helps, number one, hydrate us, and also it will help us in managing our weight. So, the basic recommendation is 8 to 10 glasses of water a day, 8 ounces of water a day. I recommend, because also in conjunction with being a nurse, I'm also a personal trainer. I recommend that you, especially if you are working out, drink half of your body weight in ounces of water unless it is contraindicated because of some health issues that you may have, or the doctor recommends that you limit your fluid intake. So for instance, if you weigh 140 40
10.
pounds,
Okay.
you're going to drink at least half of that in ounces of water. And the way to help to control your weight, drink 8 ounces before your meal, 8 ounces after your meal, and that will decrease, number one, the amount of food that you take in, and then number two, it can help also with sometimes that bloatiness that we feel as we're going through this whole issue called menopause. Rest always plays a part in it. So if you think about it, the very things that I'm recommending are those simple processes that is often recommended for at any point in our lives: exercise, nutrition, um, nutritional supplements like vitamin D, because that's very important, calcium intake. All of those things can help to support you as when you're going through menopause and after menopause, those menopausal symptoms have gone away. Now, as far as one thing I mentioned is vaginal dryness, then that can contribute to painful sex. And of course, there's a way to get around that too. You can use a vaginal lubricant or get with your physician, and he can recommend some lubricants that you can use to help with that concern. And the other things that we can do is we can do hormone therapy. If there are no contraindications like breast cancer in your family, hormone therapy may be the answer for you to reduce some of those symptoms that occur during menopause. Because remember, we not only have hot flashes, there's changes in your weight, there's changes in your bone health. If we don't address that, there can be changes in your hair, changes in your skin. So if your doctor, and once you all sit down and discuss it, and hormone therapy is for you, then that's something that that I would recommend as well. Now, if you want to do things, some natural supplements, black cohosh is one of the ones they recommend, primrose. That works for some people, and for others, it doesn't really do the job. But just know what works for you. If it's safe for hormone therapy and it makes you feel better, I say go for it, because you want to navigate this process of life as smoothly as possible. So that's kind of a broad overview of menopause, what it is. That's periods for 1 year, a decline in those hormones, particularly estrogen, the symptoms that go along with it, which is hot flashes, just changes in your libido, maybe some changes in your hair and skin, but particularly the hot flashes is what we often are concerned with. And then the other piece is, how can we minimize it? Watching what you eat, don't do spicy foods, alcohol, caffeine, all of those things can impact your experience, should I say, with menopause, or as my mother and women of that age would say, the change of life. So I want to just open it up to any questions or concerns that anyone might have, just so we can just kind of talk about this, chat about it, and talk about what we can do about it if I haven't addressed it already.
I'm going to try to unmute. I do have, let me see if I can unmute everybody at one time. Let me just tell you one of the questions from Miss Kim. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Kim. Oh, Kim, you're on. Can you talk? Can you hear?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, what I suffer with the most are the night sweats, insomnia, and weight gain. You already addressed the weight gain. And so I do a lot of the things that you talk about with weight gain. I drink a lot of water. Well, I have to drink a lot of water because I'm beta thalassemia minor, so I have to stay hydrated at all times. I exercise, but I find out I can't exercise like I did when I was 40. I have to exercise literally 3 times a week or more, and I'm watching what I eat. But the night sweats and the insomnia is killing me. I sleep with the ceiling fan on high, table fan. I have 2 ice packs. I got a cold towel. I'm butt naked. And the night sweats are killing me, which is not helping me with my insomnia. So I was just kind of wondering, what things can you recommend? I can't take HRT. I took HRT, a low dosage, many years ago. I was propelled into menopause state early in life because I had to have a full hysterectomy. Mm-hmm. And at that time, my gynecologist put me on a very low dose of HRT, and I was on it for a number of years. But my doctor about 6 years ago said that I had to get off it because my mother was a breast cancer survivor and it would be good for me to continue. Mm-hmm. And so ever since I got off the HRT, those symptoms have been like terrible for me. So I was just wondering if you have any other recommendations to help me with my night sweats and my insomnia.
Well, with the insomnia, have you tried melatonin?
Yes, and it's hit or miss. Some nights it works fine, and other nights it don't work very well.
Okay, and how many milligrams are you taking? 5?
It's a 5 milligram.
Okay, and that's the recommended dose. Have you tried the black cohosh or the primrose? No,
I have not, because I wasn't for sure how safe it was as far as with soy and things like that. So is that something that you recommend that I try, as the black cohosh?
Try that. Try those two combined. And just
combined.
And I'm a big fan of supplements, because one of the things that unfortunately, because the way our foods are processed, even when we eat what we go to raw foods, the raw foods that we get today are not the same as the raw foods during my grandmother's. I'm 72, by the way, so when I'm talking about my grandmother, I'm talking a long time.
Beautiful 72.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Young 72. I love it.
So the food, remember, everything is very commercialized. Unless you're growing it in your backyard, you don't really know what you're getting. So I'm a real big fan and supporter of supplementing your diet. So do the primrose and go to the health food stores. Not necessarily GNC, but like your vitamin stores, and get those particular products, because even what in Walgreens, and I'm not saying that they're bad, but I trust the ones out of the vitamin stores more so, because you never know how much of the product is in the product, and that's what my concern is. Now, Chinese medicine, if we as the Western world would learn to would marry some of those herbs and so forth that you see in Chinese medicine with Western medicine, I think we'd be in a much better place. But because we don't really know a lot about and what some of those herbs will do when you are taking other medications,
right?
I recommend that you go to something that's somewhere where that it's been labeled and there's a safety net in there, because they've gone through a certain process. So try the primrose and the black cohosh. I know there's a lot of controversy about soy, but soy does help. Tofu helps. So try those products. Eat more sardines, eat more oily fish, do all of those things to see if that helps you. And girl, just minimize what you wear at night, turn that fan on, and just until sometimes we have to just call on Jesus to help us get it.
Yes, Lord. I know that's right. Well, thank you for your advice. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your question, Kim. Let's see. Let me mute you back. Let me see what question. I always have questions. So I was prescribed estrogen in a pill, and it almost drove me crazy. Like, it was not right. It was something wrong with me. I couldn't get out of bed. Like, I was crying constantly.
Really?
Like, yes. And someone and wait a minute. Let me try to mute this. Okay. So my question to that is that a normal side effect to that? Or is it because, like, may have mentioned to you that I'm on antidepressants. So maybe that.
Yeah, I think that probably had a great deal to do, because usually estrogen would balance those things out. Usually estrogen does not cause that. In fact, what often happens, I should say often, what sometimes happen as the estrogen declines, you do go through those mood swings. And I didn't mention that. Mood swings, you're happy, you're sad, you feel like you're on a roller coaster. And you ask, am I losing my mind?
Yeah.
What's really going on here? And that's because those hormones are just, it's a roller coaster, and once they level off, you may feel better. But because you are on antidepressants, sometimes just and that's why I was saying, when you're taking, going to the Chinese store, getting the herbs, you don't know how it may impact the other medications that you're taking. So if it didn't work for you, then you have to resort to other methods, like the black cohosh. And so you're still pretty young, so you're early in the game. What are you, 50 or 52?
I'm 50.
50. Yeah, you're very early in the game, and I hate to say it that way, but you may go through a few years of this. Now, what has helped you since you've been off of? I'm sorry. What has helped you in particular since you've been taken off of the estrogen? What has worked for you?
What I've done is just in as far as I noticed what you said today. There were triggers. Chocolate.
Yes.
I noticed if I get really, really stressed or really excited, I think about stuff, I get the flash. Like there's little bitty things. But mostly I think it's stress or getting excited, just the opposite. I'll feel it. Even right before we came on here today.
I was getting ready to say,
turn on the air.
I'm sure that triggered a hot flash.
Yeah, it's only going to turn on the air.
Yeah, it triggered, because even though it's a different kind of stress, it's still stress.
Yeah.
And so
that
your
was
body
funny
goes through that process, and then you started getting hot from the core, and you say, okay, God, I cannot be having this right now, because I'm getting ready to do this broadcast. You have the little beady sweat, and then when it comes on, it's just a matter of just trying to take some deep breaths, trying to de-stress, put that fan on to cool you down, because once it starts coming, it's hard to control it. But just know what the triggers are.
I do want you to mention, just in case someone has this question, because we talked about it offline, if you are on antidepressant, if you're having a lot of sweating and you're on antidepressants, that can be a cause. Because I sweat, like I probably, if you're my friend on here, you probably know I tell you I sweat through my clothes all the time, and I was like, what's wrong with me? So I mentioned to Nurse Jo Ann that I'm on antidepressants. So would you speak to a little bit about that?
Well, that again can be one of the side effects that which makes it enhances the symptoms. You're on antidepressants, your estrogen levels are all over the place, and so and some women, because my mom did, her perspiration was just incredible. We'd have to change her clothes, and quite frankly, as I said, you never know how long you're going to experience those hot flashes and that profuse sweating. And she experienced it up until she was she was almost 80.
Wow.
But she was also on a antidepressant. But the estrogen, without the estrogen, it was even worse. So we decided we just go through that process as far as, changing those clothes. And that's so uncomfortable. You wake up at night and your bed is wet.
I'm like Kim, I dress naked. I go naked.
Yeah, I mean, that's so uncomfortable. But, unfortunately, everybody's different, and no two women are the same. You may experience similar. Now, like with my mom, she had profuse sweating at night. I would have some sweating just enough to make me uncomfortable, but nowhere near, what she had. So, but again, she was on an antidepressant, and that made the difference.
Someone did put in the chat that they think stress is a trigger for them as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
stress is a trigger for all of us. All of us. I want to share a little funny story with you all, just to kind of lighten up and tell you about my experience. My first experience with hot flash. I was in a meeting with my staff. That's when I was still working at the hospital. I was about 57. And I'm in the meeting, and I'm all dressed in my cute little suit because it was an administrative day, and I had on my purple, and I was just real cute that day. And I'm in the meeting, and all of a sudden, I'm having my first hot flash. And I'm trying to be very coy about it. And I said, "Oh, is it getting hot in here?" They go, "No, Miss Goodie, it's fine. Are you? Oh, okay." So I started taking off. I took off the jacket, and then the little beady sweat is coming up on my forehead. And then I started to unbutton my blouse, and I started rolling up my sleeve. And one of the staff members said, "Miss Goodie, don't take off another thing. Let us go. We're going to help you out." So the one of them got me a patient gown, and we went into the other little room. And so I put on that patient gown and continued the meeting. They teased me about that until I retired. I said, because when I came out, I act like nothing had gone wrong. I just started the meeting and went with
your little dress. That is so funny.
Now I've gone from cute to hilarious.
Yes. And thank God they helped you out, because they could have just let you suffer. That is funny. Someone in the chat said, is it common to have to change your deodorant? She finds that her deodorant stops working and she has to change her bra.
Change her bra because it gets
brand. She's saying brand. I'm sorry. Brand.
Okay.
Brand.
No, that's not, because that happened to me as well. I had to change my deodorant. I thought, why is this deodorant not working anymore for me? And then I kind of put the two and two together and realized that, I used to use Mitchum, which is a pretty strong deodorant. But for some reason, it wasn't working for me anymore. And I switched over to another brand, which it should have been just the opposite. I started using Secret, and that, whatever the ingredients that was different, that started working for me.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe I couldn't use the Mitchum anymore, but I couldn't use it anymore.
Yeah. It's
so
almost like
common.
For me with allergies, I was taking a Claritin forever, but I felt like maybe I became immune to it or something. So I had to change to I use something else now. I've had to change a little bit sometimes, different things.
Okay.
Any more questions for the chat? Any to put in the chat? Make sure. They're laughing at your patient gown. She says you were probably rocking that patient gown.
Listen, I sit on top of that desk, crossed my legs, and went straight on. And they teased me. But for everything, when I had my retirement party, that was one of the things.
One of the things they talked about. Oh, I bet they did. Well, let me just make sure in my notes that I didn't put anything else here. Process. I love the way you say process of life also. Oh,
one thing I want to mention though, that we talked about, and no one's brought that up, which I'm really surprised about, is that change in libido. That does happen, sexual drive, because you're, along with estrogen dropping, we do have a small amount of testosterone hormone that we actually have as a part of our norm. But as we get older, we go through menopause, that changes. So, and along with that, vaginal dryness. So sometimes intercourse becomes uncomfortable. So, of course, there are gels you can use, KY gel, or talk to your doctor. And sometimes they can prescribe a estrogen type cream or some type of hormonal cream that does not impact you the same way that the taking medication by mouth or with the patch, because it does not get into the system. It just takes care of that area. And so if that's what your experience is, then there are things that you can do to help with that. And I also tell women that just like when you were, when you're going through the process, you're raising your children, you're going, you're working hard. I said, as women, we truly do bring home the bacon fried in the pan. We take care of the children. We do a lot as women. And a lot of times you're just flat tired, and then you have a decrease in libido on top of that. So that's when things like date night becomes extremely important. If you haven't been doing it, this may be a good time to do it, because you want to feel, you don't want to be stressed out by the whole experience. So that's one of the things that you might consider, because it may impact your
Relationship.
libido or your sexual drive.
Which can, if you don't do the date nights, that could definitely cause harm to your relationship.
Yeah, like one of my doctor friends say, just make sure you like your partner. You know, if he's gotten on your last nerve for the last week, you know, you've got to, you know, communicate those things and talk about those things so that you again feel good about the experience.
Yes. I want to make sure that after you asked earlier what things that I do. Also, I found that just in, you know, when you're having these hot flashes and stuff, you start thinking about what's the trigger. But chocolate, I found, because I was trying to call myself working out last year and started working out. I was working out, gave up bread, gave up chocolate, gave up sodas, which I have started back. I gave up all of that stuff. And I'm not a big person. Matter of fact, this is the first time I weighed 110 pounds. I used to weigh like 93 pounds. But anyway,
Like your mom.
when I did, yeah. So like when I stopped when I was working out and stopped all these things, I didn't have as bad of a time with what I'm dealing with. But now I notice I'm back to chocolate. I'm back to my sodas and the caffeine because
that's that craving. That's that craving. So again, and I'm glad you mentioned exercise, because I really want to speak to that just a little bit, because exercise is extremely important. And I tell people, I share with women, when you're younger, exercise is about maintaining your weight and being cute. You know, good clothes, all that. But as we age, we realize that exercise is about more than that. It's about maintaining heart health. It's about maintaining bone health. It's about helping to maintain your weight. It's about helping to minimize these symptoms related to menopause. But how often do we exercise? If you're trying to lose weight, you really need to be exercising 5 to 6 times a week. If you're just trying to maintain weight, then that's when that 3 times a week is enough. But so know what your goals are when you're planning your exercise program. And exercise should be planned like anything else in your life, because otherwise you will put it on the back burner. Know what a time of day works well for you. And I'm mentioning this because it's extremely important that we make that as much of a priority. Exercise, rest, eating properly is and drinking enough water are such important components to our overall health. So just make sure you plan. And like they say, if you don't make the plan, then you plan to fail. Okay, so you got to make the plan. Okay, what's in it was a baka? You know, you write it down and make it plain.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got to do that in order for you to be successful, or to increase your success with your fitness and your wellness program.
I noticed that when I was working out, because I don't like water, I don't drink nearly enough water. But when I was working out, I didn't crave the soda. I craved the water.
Yes.
My body just craved it. So another reason I got to get back to that.
And women in general, for some reason, we don't, unlike our male counterparts, we oftentimes don't drink enough water. It's just something that just part of the female psyche, that we don't drink enough water.
One last question, and then I want you to just tell us real quick about fitness for you. Fitness, am I missing a word out of it?
Oh, fit just for you.
Fit just for you. And I figured out why it's called that too. But I want to mention, do men have anything? Do they have menopause? What do they get?
Well, they do have a decline in testosterone. So what that does for them, it will decrease their libido. They have problems, and yes, they do. They have problems with not maintaining an erection, or that erection is not as firm as it once was, which can impact us, you know, because oftentimes when that's not happening for them, you're going through decreased sex drive. I mean, so all of that is
that's true. Okay.
And then they're gaining the weight as well. So those hormones play a part with them as well. And also, I forgot to mention this, muscle mass. Let me speak to that real quick.
Okay.
Women in general do not realize the importance of maintaining muscle mass. the reason why our male counterparts lose weight so much faster than we do, because they have more muscle than we do. So in your exercise program, make sure you're allowing time to build muscle, because that muscle will make a difference with you being a better calorie burning machine. Just like you notice, as they get older, when they start to lose muscle, they start to gain more weight. That's contributed to that weight gain, because as you decrease your muscle mass, you also decrease your ability of your body becoming an effective calorie burning machine. That don't mean you have to bulk up and look like you're getting ready to hit the stage.
Yeah.
But you do want, just to make sure you include building muscle as part of your exercise regimen.
Okay. Someone says, she says, when do they decrease their libido decrease?
Everybody's different.
My mom put on here, she just mentioned that it does take time when you start using the black colors. It takes a little time, but that's
it does take time. It does take time. So it's not, you're not gonna take it today and all of a sudden, you have to give it some time, And
because I'm like a microwave. Different. I want it to work today.
Right, exactly. Because I'm having a hot flash right now, so I need this to work today. So it does take time.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you. I don't see any more questions. I do want to thank you so much. This was really nice. And I want to, ahead of time, invite you back when we have some other things, because with Chat with Trina, I do interview people, but I also want to make sure that I bring health information to my viewers. Because sometimes we don't want, of course we have to go to our doctor, but sometimes we can ask those questions one-on-one like this. It makes it a little bit easier.
And what do they say? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And as African American women and men, one of the things we really must do a better job of is taking better care of ourselves. So a lot of the health issues that some health issues we can minimize, if not eliminate, by simply taking better care of ourselves. So we definitely want to be cognizant of that.
And I guess I want to also just add, because I lost a friend yesterday, and so I just want to mention that at this time with COVID, Dr. Jo Ann and I mentioned before the show too that we got to take care of our bodies, because sometimes COVID, we get past the COVID, but those underlying health issues that you already have can take a toll, I guess, would that be the right word?
Oh, yeah.
Toll on your
certainly
success to recovery. So talk to us now. And ladies, thank you. If you guys ever have any other questions, I will make sure when I email you your thank you emails, I will, if Ms. Nurse Jo Ann doesn't mind, I will send you your email. Can they send an email to you if they have a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So talk to us really quick about fitness just for you. And that's because you have so many fitness just for you, because tell me if I'm right, you use that because you have so many different things, so it fits for the person who's doing am I right? Is that where that came from?
It's all about designing a program that is just for you.
Okay, I couldn't get them into words, but yeah,
it's just that. For you. And I actually, my target population is the 50 plus and older group. And so that population, you may not be able to do the things, the CrossFit and all of the things that you may have been able to do in 30 and early 40s, time and some physical limitations. So we want to design a program that works for you, whether it's your nutrition, your exercise program, working around those limitations that you might have. So that's what it's about, a program fit just for you. And we do personal training as well as, I've even, I've gotten to be more of a techie now. I'm even doing Zoom training.
That's what I was going to say. I read that. I did a little commercial for you yesterday, and I tried to send it to you, but it wouldn't fit. It was too big. But I said that. I said, she has even virtual workouts now.
Oh, yeah, so virtual workouts.
That's the road that we're going to nowadays.
Yeah. COVID has changed our lives in so many ways. But
So
that's
many ways.
the virtual is a good thing, because if you live on the north side and I'm on the south side, you don't want to make that long travel. We can do it virtually. Or you don't want to, go to the gym, particularly now that this is this COVID issue. You can
Right.
exercise right in the comfort of your home and feel safe.
And then I read, I just want to make sure that I have a good understanding. I read in the description that your venue is a place to where it's more private.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a small gym. It's only about 1,300 square feet, and it's by appointment only. So
Oh,
people just can't come in and just get on the machine and work out. And so we
uh-huh.
control the number of people who are in there at any given time. Now, prior to COVID, it may be 2 trainers in there, or 4 trainers in there with
Mm-hmm,
clients.
mm-hmm.
Since COVID, we try to keep it down to 1 trainer, 1 client, no more than 4 people in the gym at any given time. We try to keep it so we can maintain not only that social distance, we go really beyond what is required, and just understand, if you come into the gym, you have to come into the gym and wear a mask during the course of your exercise. So we want to make sure everyone is safe. So it is a private, boutique-like atmosphere.
Yes.
It's
I
not
loved that
yeah,
description when I read it.
boutique, right near the medical center. So it's easy access right off the 16 freeway.
10008 Stella Link.
That's it.
um, Someone asked, how do I sign up for the virtual classes? They can go on your website to see that. Am I correct?
Right, and just call me. Give me a call. Let me give you my number.
Okay.
It's 832-203-3700. Again, that's 832-203-3700, and that will be virtual personal training. I also have a 24/7 fitness program where you can just sign up with the subscription and do classes like aerobic type classes. And most of the classes I actually do myself. We have a couple of kickboxing classes on there, some Pilates, but mostly even chair aerobics. If you have some limitations where you need to, like a person of my age group, sometimes they need to chair. But you'd be surprised that, in fact, my grandbaby said, these exercises for old people? Of course, she's 18, so she looks at
Right.
life totally
Right.
different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have that is available. But if they just call me and we can discuss what's best for them as far as their lifestyle, budget, and what their goals are.
Okay. Okay, well, guys, there's not any questions. I thank you so much. Thank you again, Nurse Jo Ann, so much for agreeing to do this. And thank your hubby for letting us borrow you this morning.
Yeah, because he just opened the door and looked at me real funny.
Tell him thank you. And I do appreciate this. Was so informative. I appreciate it. And I did record it. I didn't tell the people that didn't sign up that I was recording because I didn't want them not to sign up. So I'm going to record it and put it into my YouTube video for Chat with Trina. Thank you again. Enjoy your
Thank
weekend.
you for inviting me. I enjoyed this. It's just
Yes.
really a privilege to participate.
Yes. And I definitely hope that when I call you again, we can do this again, because it's just very, very important.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. God bless.
Such awesome information. It really helped me, and I hope it helped you, especially with those of us who've turned 50 and all these different things are happening to our bodies. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact Nurse Jo Ann Goodie-Charles at 832-203-3700 or email her at health@yahoo.com. Also, go to her website, fitjust4u.com, to check out her awesome boutique style gym and fitness center. She is located at 1008 Stella Link in Houston, Texas. Guys, don't forget, contact me if you have any other topics, health topics that you would like for me to have on Chat with Trina. I am so open. But also, don't forget to go to www.youtube.com/chatwithtrina, hit subscribe, and then hit that little bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video.